It is 79 CE, and two Romans wake up in the same city. One opens his eyes in a marble house with a garden, servants, and breakfast prepared. The other wakes on the top floor of a crowded apartment block and hopes the staircase has not collapsed overnight. No Netflix, no food delivery, definitely no renter's insurance. Wealth bought comfort, power, and a much better lunch. But could it protect you from disease, fire, political enemies, or an erupting volcano? Was life really better for the rich in ancient times? Ancient societies did not use one simple class ladder, but housing, food, work, legal power, and burial reveal enormous gaps. The answer is mostly yes. Wealth improved daily life. It just could not guarantee safety, freedom, health, or happiness. And those exceptions change the entire story. Start with New Kingdom Egypt, where social inequality was painted beautifully on tomb walls. Around 1350 BC, the tomb chapel of Nebamun at Thebes showed its owner hunting, inspecting livestock, and attending an elegant banquet. This was not a normal day. It was the ancient version of a carefully edited social media profile. Nebamun's wealth meant fine linen, furniture, servants, cosmetics, and a tomb designed to preserve his status after death. A poor farmer had a very different routine. He worked long hours, depended on the Nile's harvest, paid taxes in produce, and lived in a much smaller mud brick home. Even skilled workers lived closer to uncertainty than the elite. At Deir el-Medina, the royal tomb builders occupied compact houses and received grain, beer, and supplies as wages. When those rations failed around 1159 BC, they stopped working and protested. Were they the poorest people in Egypt? No, they were not. They were trained specialists. Ordinary laborers left far fewer records. That tells us something uncomfortable. Wealth did not just improve your life, it improved your chances of being remembered. Egypt's elite could prepare for eternity. In Rome, however, your social class could determine whether your bedroom survived the night. Pompeii and Herculaneum, buried by Mount Vesuvius in 79 CE, preserve large homes with atriums, decorated dining rooms, private gardens, and space to entertain important guests. Wealthy Romans ate varied meals and relied on enslaved people to cook, clean, carry messages, and maintain the household. That leisure was real. So was the human cost behind it. Poorer Romans often rented rooms in insulae, crowded apartment blocks. The higher you climbed, the cheaper the room became. Also smaller. Also more dangerous. Water was harder to carry upstairs, toilets were not guaranteed, and fires or collapses could turn cheap housing into a death trap. Food showed the gap too. The rich held elaborate dinners. Ordinary workers often bought hot food from Thermopolia, Roman street counters that functioned like fast food, only with more fermented fish sauce and fewer disappointing app reviews. Pliny the Elder completed his natural history in 77 CE and complained about luxury, marble, and humanity's obsession with digging shiny things out of the ground. He was basically the ancient world's extremely confident uncle who had an opinion about everything. Roman money bought space, status, servants, and time. But it could not make Vesuvius check your bank account before erupting. Rome displayed wealth inside the home. Han China carried it directly into the grave. The Mawangdui tombs at Changsha, excavated in 1972, belonged to the aristocratic family of the Marquis of Dai. Lady Dai, who died in 168 BC, was buried with nested coffins, lacquerware, silk clothing, musical instruments, food, and objects meant to reproduce elite life after death. Her body was wrapped in layers of luxurious textiles. That was not a funeral. That was an extremely exclusive moving service. Han tombs also contained Mingqi, clay models of houses, granaries, animals, entertainers, and workers. These objects showed what elite families owned, and how many other people were needed to keep that lifestyle running. A wealthy household could enjoy silk, education, land, servants, and access to government office. A peasant family produced food, paid taxes, performed labor, and faced disaster when harvests failed. The rich were more comfortable, but their comfort rested on a huge structure of work beneath them. Here is the modern contrast. A Roman senator could own several houses and still die from an infected tooth. Effective antibiotics only entered widespread medical use in the 20th century. meaning an ordinary modern patient may survive something ancient wealth could not fix. So, was life really better for the rich? Materially, yes. They ate better, worked less, lived in larger homes, held more legal and political power, and could turn even death into a display of status. But wealth was not the same as safety. It was not the same as freedom. And it was definitely not the same as a peaceful life. The largest ancient houses depended on people whose names were rarely recorded. The richest tombs often tell us what elites wanted others to believe, not what they feared in private. Across Egypt, Rome, and Han China, class changed almost everything. Yet rich and poor still worried about family, illness, reputation, hunger, and death. The rich may have owned the biggest houses, but history is finally learning to knock on everyone else's door and listen to the people inside.